Hi guys, so Matt Hancock has been caught with his trousers down, not literally, but while the media tend to focus on the explicit nature of the video, where the health secretary is embracing and kissing and fondling an aide, some in the opposition are concentrating on perhaps more important aspects of this. Now, trust has been undermined. We saw how last year, when Dominic Cummings drove across the country and pretended that he needed to drive to test his eyesight, this undermined trust between the government and its citizens. Also, what is important is that, and it's missed in the media, is the potential for corruption here. The aide in question has a brother, and that brother runs a company that has received contracts from the NHS, the department headed by Matt Hancock. Now, some people in the Labour Party are willing to call this out for what it is.
After Emily Thornberry for Labour.
I think that the notion of decency and honour seems to have gone out of the window in relation to this government. Of course, Boris Johnson isn't going to sack him because he would be worried that he might be held to the same sort of standards.
It's a wonderful point. Boris Johnson is not going to sack Matt Hancock, and he hasn't, because Boris Johnson has done worse than Matt Hancock.
But let me just say, I'm not talking about the sex. I'm not talking about that. I mean, time is long gone when if someone had an affair and they embarrassed their family and their party, that they would resign. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is somebody breaking the rules for which they were personally responsible, where they were on television night after night telling us that we weren't allowed to have intimate contact with people from outside our household. And that meant people would leave medicines at the end of their path for their parents. It would mean that there were grandparents who didn't manage to hold their newborn grandchild for more than a year. They were doing the right thing and they were sticking to rules that this man said that they had to stick to because the British people tried to do the right thing when.
This is a very valid point and a very interesting point to make, because what she's doing is she's connecting with ordinary people. She's explaining how there's a rule for one, the government, and there's another rule for everyone else. And Matt Hancock broke the rules that he has laid out for everyone, and he's not getting punished in the same way that Dominic Cummings did not get punished.
They're told to do so. And I think that it's also about the misuse of patronage. You know, appointing an old university friend who turns out, in fact, to be a lover is the same as when he gave a PPE contract to his old mate who happened to run a pub. I mean, there's just, and I think it shows an arrogance that they believe that they are above the law. I think
it's not just an arrogance, but they truly do believe they're above the law. And I said this before, Boris Johnson has an 80-seat majority. So in a sense, he is above the law. Because any allegation against Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock or others does not stick. Because we need Parliament to hold these people to account. But Parliament doesn't have this power, and the opposition don't have the power to bring down Boris Johnson's government. So unfortunately, this is going to be in the news cycle for a few days, and then we'll move on to something else, the next scandal.
I think that it makes them, they think that they're immune from public judgment, and I think that they seem to be incapable of resigning on a matter of honour. But okay. I personally think he should have gone a long time ago, and he should have gone a long time ago when he promised that he was going to put a protective ring around social care. He definitely did not, and we had people with COVID going into old people's homes, and Lord knows how many people died.
Matt Hancock has lied to people. Matt Hancock has told people that they need to follow the rules, and he didn't follow the rules. But unfortunately, as I've said before, he will not resign. Boris Johnson has stood by his side. However, there may be a silver lining here. Boris Johnson may be holding Matt Hancock in reserve, in a sense, waiting for a scandal to arrive, or waiting perhaps for another wave. Cases are rising at the moment because of the ridiculous actions Boris Johnson has taken in regards to allowing the Indian variant, the Delta variant, to spread around the country, because he wanted his Indian trade deal. He's thrown people under the bus in order to get that trade deal, not to embarrass the Indian Prime Minister Modi. So the consequence of that is there's a possibility of another wave. And I think what's happening at the moment is Matt Hancock is being prepared to be thrown under the bus. This is going to help allow Boris Johnson to throw Matt Hancock under the bus. So when the wave hits and it's necessary to perhaps go into another lockdown or increase restrictions or stop the easing of restrictions, Boris Johnson will have his fall guy. Boris Johnson will blame Matt Hancock. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if I'm interpreting this correctly. Let me know in the comment section, guys. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?